Believed to date from around the 14th century, Alloa Tower was strategically placed to guard the ferry crossing over the River Forth. At 68 feet, roughly 20 metres high to the parapets, excluding the attic, this 4-storey former residence is one of Scotland's largest tower houses. It was home to the Erskine family, who were granted the lands of Alloa in the 14th century. They were also given the title Earl of Mar. Constructed of coursed rubble, it was originally built with a cellar or pit prison, but by the 15th century it had developed into a tower house with 4 or 5 levels. A large number of windows were introduced in the 17th century, with some mock windows also being built on the north and west sides. An addition of some kind was also built in the 17th century, but this is now lost. A mansion was built incorporating the tower in 1710, but plans were drawn up for a much grander place. However, these never came to fruition. The Renaissance doorway on the north wall dates from the latter part of this period. The view from the battlements was said to take in 9 counties, with Clackmannanshire being seen to the east. There have been several royal visitors to Alloa Tower. These included the Queen Margaret Tudor, wife of James IV, who had a meeting with the Chancellor, James Beaton, on 11th July 1524. Mary Queen of Scots visited on 16th June 1562, returning in May 1565 and visiting one final time in July the following year. Her son, James VI, also stayed at Alloa for 4 days in August 1579. It was last occupied in 1838, while a new house was being built. The tower has a darker side to its history and is associated with a curse placed on it by a clergyman. John Erskine, 1st Earl of Mar in its 7th creation and keeper of Stirling Castle, is reputed to have taken stone from the ruins of Cambuskenneth Abbey near Stirling in order to build his new mansion, Mar's Walk, in the city. The last abbot of the abbey, Patrick Painter, was so incensed at the theft that one day, dressed in rags, he arrived at Alloa Tower and placed a series of curses on the family. Among these were that the new house would never be completed, that his children would never receive honour, and 3 of them would never see the light. He added that Alloa Tower, their ancestral home, would burn to the ground, and the Earl's wife would perish in the fire. He stated it would be a ruin and a beacon until an ash sapling grew from its highest stone. Only at that point would honour be restored. The abbot also foretold the family's banner would be raised in a field of blood, and that the Mars, when at the height of their powers, would fall and lose their titles and lands. He also said that one day horses would be stabled within the tower's hall, and a weaver would work in the Chamber of State. These collectively were known as the Doom of Mar. Some of his predictions came true. Mar's mansion in Stirling wasn't complete at the time of his death in 1572, and in the end it was never finished. During the 16th century, the Erskines became close to the Stuart monarchy, and as a result, during the Jacobite uprising of 1715, the 6th Earl of Mar, John Erskine, raised his banner in the name of James Francis Edward Stuart, known as the Old Pretender, at the Battle of Sheriff Muir. The battle ended in a draw, but he was exiled, and the Mars lost their title until 1824, when it was restored by George IV. The children of John Francis Erskine, 7th Earl of Mar, didn't achieve any honour, with the eldest being disinherited by his father and dying as a result of an opium overdose in 1828. 3 of Mar's 8 children were born blind, therefore never saw the light. In 1798, the Earl's wife died, and 2 years later fire broke out. On 28 August 1800, much of the fine early 18th century mansion that had incorporated the tower, Alloa House, was destroyed, leaving the tower in ruins. A maid had left a candle burning too close to bedclothes, and they'd caught fire. The mansion was never rebuilt. At some stage, horses were indeed stabled within the tower, and a weaver was found working there before he was discovered and told to leave. In 1815, an ash sapling was seen growing out of the ruin, and since then the Erskines have prospered. During its later restoration, many ash saplings were found to be growing in the tower. The tower is said to be haunted by numerous ghosts. In the dungeon, it's said the spectre of a man in chains is helped by the ghost of a serving girl. She wraps bandages round his foot, which is slowly being eaten by rats. In the Great Hall, the ghost of a young girl has reportedly been seen, as well as the apparition of a woman dressed in dark clothing who watches over a cradle. A maid has also been recorded near to the family portrait that depicts Alloa Tower with its adjoining mansion. She is thought to be the girl who accidentally started the fire, and on the anniversary of the fire, visitors to the tower sometimes report the smell of burning, yet no fire burns on any of the floors. In the charter room, a young boy has been seen crying, and an armed man with mysterious eyes has also been reported. A final 2 apparitions are noteworthy. A clergyman with a gaunt face, dressed in black, sweeps through the rooms, while another ghost appears in the solar room. He has been seen hanging by a rope, his body limp, and visitors have reported they've felt as though they were being strangled. Alloa Tower was Category A listed by Historic Environment Scotland on 9th June 1960, and today is cared for by the National Trust for Scotland. If you enjoyed this episode of Scotland's History, please like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching.